Hello, everybody. This is Michael Pucciarelli, creator of Still Life and Landscape of Michael Pucciarelli YouTube channel. And in this presentation, we're going to talk about all the small LED flashlights I use for light painting, and the recommended, flashlights. And so when I talk about light painting, I'm going to do a new screen share. Talk about doing images like this, where this is the light streaks are separate exposures, and they're masked into one file. You can light paint a motorcycle, do the same thing. The separate exposures in different files masked into a master art file. You could do car interiors. You could do single products. If you do other products, you could do cars. That's what light painting is. So it's many lighted exposures to create a final master art piece. So we're going to the Coast G20 is the first LED flashlight I will talk about. And relatively all the LED flashlights are pretty small. Some have different lumen powers. And lumen power is how you measure a LED at the light, where this is only a lumen of 50. But you could do a lot with one LED flashlight. And this, LED flashlight works with 2 AAA batteries. Alkaline are recommended. And, most LED flashlights, they're water resistant and they have good, reliable aluminum. And this one is the Coast G20. And this is a great, light for small still life. And you'll be really close to the still life. And there's several ways you could use this light. You could have a filter. You put a light in parts of the image, or you could just not have a filter and sprinkle some light on like the top section of a still life, like the top section of a wine bottle, a Coke bottle, the caps. A lot of times it's small still life. I use a light like this with the filter. And I always use black, LED flashlights. I mean, this one you could buy in different colors, but most, LED lights, they come in black. Then there's the Coast G32. And this light has different levels of light power. But I always use this light at the highest setting with the filter when I do small still life. And it has a very high lumen power of 465. And it works well on 2 AA alkaline batteries. You could use this LED light for, 30 minutes. But the longer you use it, you may have a chance of it heating up, so you want to turn it off and let it rest. And it's, water resistant, and it has a tough aluminum. So this is a good, LED flashlight. Then there's the Coast PX1, where lumen power is 565, and it operates on 3 AAA alkaline batteries. And you can use this light for 30 minutes, maybe an hour, but I never use it more than 30 minutes or 10 minutes. But just keep in mind it may heat up if it's used for a long time. And like this light, it has different levels of light power, but I do this with all lights. I just use a filter with the light with the highest setting, so the lighting's consistent. And it's a water resistant, and it's also reliable. This is reliable aluminum. This is the, Coast PX1. This is the Coast HX5R. Again, like some of the lights I discussed, so there's different levels of light power. But I always use this, LED light with the filter, with the power of the highest setting. It has a lumen power of 620, so this is a pretty powerful light. And this light, unlike the other lights I've discussed so far, has a USB charger slot. And this light comes with a USB charger cable. And this, LED flashlight works well with a USB for it to charge, a rechargeable battery, or the CR123 batteries. And I've used 3 AA alkaline batteries, and it works great. So there's many ways there's many batteries, there's many ways to charge this flashlight, there's many ways to supply electricity to this flashlight. And it may heat up if you use it for too long a time. It's water resistant. We talked about the different levels. Then the PX20 is another LED light. It has a lumen power of 400. It has 3 AAA alkaline batteries. And it has different levels of light power, but I do the same thing. I use this light with the highest setting, highest lumen power with the filter for doing small still life. It also has a dual light, a red light, a white LED light. I'm only interested in the white LED light. I think there are other ways to use this red light, but I just use the white LED light. And it's water resistant. It's tough aluminum. The Coast GX20, it's a powerful light, and this light has a lumen of 1200, and it uses 4 AAA alkaline batteries. It may heat up if you use this light a long time, but I don't use a light a long time, so I really have a problem with having a light that heats up. And there is a light that I sometimes have a problem with, but I'll get to that light later. But there's different lighting levels. I do the same thing. I use the light with the highest aluminum light power with a filter so that you control the light, that you can paint the edges. And this is aluminum, but it also has like a rubber texture. But this, another way to use this light, if you're outside, if you're trying to light paint a car, you take away the filter and you could light paint the lights of a car or motorcycle. Because when you light paint outside, it's really dark. When you're inside a dark studio, a big studio, it's dark. It's also dark in a resident studio, but outside it's really, really dark. It's a bigger environment. Then you get the Coast PS500R. There's different levels of light power, but I still use it the light at the highest lumen setting with the filter for small still life. There's lumen power 740, and it operates on 4 AAA batteries, small, AAA batteries. But there's many ways you could charge electricity. You could use it AAA batteries. You could use it USB port batteries, another option for charging this powerful light. Or you could also use a Coast Zeathon, these rechargeable batteries. And this light, like I said, has different levels of light power. Most of the lights you get today, they have different levels of light power. And this is waterproof, and it's tough plastic, so this is a good light to use if you want to, maybe light paint a car. If you're going to light paint, the lights of the front without a filter. Then you got the EagleTac. Some people just call this the EagleTac, and that's what I'll call it. It has different levels of light. It has a lumen power of 1200. This flashlight will not work with AA or AAA alkaline batteries. And this light will work with only the lithium or lithium ion battery types. Now, when I use this light may heat up after 15 minutes, 10 minutes. It heats up fast. It heats up quicker than the other Coast lights. This is a great, powerful light. If you could, highlight the edges of a bottle or the edges of a photograph quickly. And I'd recommend you always want to use a filter when you use this light for indoor, studio work. Now, if you go outside when you light paint a car, like the wheels, or really the light of a car, the light of a motorcycle, you want to use this light without a filter. So it does a good job of light painting a smaller part of a bigger object in a really dark environment. But most times I use this with a filter with my indoor studio still life. And these are the Harold Ross filters with adapter. We have the adapter, which comes with the screw. You put the screw in, and this is the filter. Sometimes you just use this without this, but this is good. This will hold it securely. So I've used it without it. I use it with. And as long as the diameter of the flashlight will fit inside either the filter or the adapter, this will do a great job on controlling the light. And before I talk about homemade filters, I want to talk about some filter tools. Tools you can buy at a hardware store to make, a homemade filter. We have a hacksaw, we have a sand block, we have a PCV pipe, and you cut like a 40-50 angle, and you sand away the rough edges, and you connect it with duct tape, then you surround it with black duct tape, and it's a pretty cool filter. You can buy all these tools at a hardware store or Home Depot, Lowe's, or any major hardware store. This is my, homemade filters look like. We have duct tape, we have black tape covering everything. And you can buy the foil pops from any major hardware store. I go to Home Depot a lot because it's close. And basically, you measure the diameter of a LED flashlight, and you get the same diameter of the pipe at the hardware store. And these filters really help control the light. And black tape will help eliminate any stray light in the photograph. Should recommend filters like these for light painting anything small. Bottom note is you control your lights with the filters, and the more you control the lighting, you'll have a better image to work with. A more healthier image that looks naturally lit. These are what the filters look attached. And some people, what they do is they take a picture with the gray card with a certain light. And then they use another light to use another gray card. But everyone starts with the master art base file, where you start with a dark file. So I'll be using like one or two lights for the whole thing. You could do a lot with one light with a filter. What I do is I create presets for all the lights. I remember the light I used, and I just go to the preset and I just, save all the settings to all the files done with this light. In the light paint, you want to think of directional light, you want to think of your subject, you want to think of the background. Talk about this later. A little common sense items. You want to shoot with the full battery. You want to make sure all your LED flashlights work. You want to have fresh batteries for your LED lights, and also fresh batteries for the camera. You want to make sure your cable, your wired remote, your remote release works. So you should be able to turn it on before putting it on the camera, and you should put the batteries in before you go to your shoot, so you're ready, set, go. And these are the LED lights turned on with the filters attached. See how soft the light is? This could be a little harsh, but to help you avoid overexposed images when doing selections. The light paints help you paint better and smoother, and they help you control the light. Then we have the LED lights with no filters. See how harsh this is? If you look on the left, this diagram. For still life, it's better to use it than not to. But for something big outside, it is better just to use the light, a powerful LED flashlight without the filter, like on a small part of the bigger subject. These are my cases for my homemade filters for the LED flashlights. Now I have 4 of these, and I have several lights I share with other bigger lights. These cases are tough. They don't take up a lot of space. This is a lead light diagram for still life. This could be any type of still life. This for a glass, I recommend you definitely want to use a filter, but you also want to put a scrim, like a white scrim to make the light smoother. You want to be photographing at, a 45-degree angle. You also want to angle the scrim maybe so that the lighting looks natural. We talked about, people using a gray card for a new light. I just remember the lights I use and I just load the settings and I white balance all the images with the presets. When you light paint, you want to be at a 40-degree angle. You want to work at the edges. You want to make sure the bulb is not facing you. You make sure the bulb is, facing the camera. And maybe there's too much light, your light painting, you want to move a foot back. That could really help with the exposure. So we have a still life. We have the background, 90-degree, should be 3 feet away. So you avoid shadows and other stuff. Camera's less than 3 feet away. It could either be 90 degrees or 45 degrees. Now, some people use the window for natural light. And so what I sometimes do is, if I'm creating the base shot with natural light, if I want more detail in the shadow, I'd use maybe a silver or a white card to bounce in some light. And that's just for the base shot. This is how you do a motorcycle car where the background could be 3 or more feet away. The camera may be 15 feet or 10 feet, and that's why I recommend, the remote. Light painting a motorcycle or car, it's a whole other stuff, more difficult, but it can be done. And this is outside the studio. This is maybe studio may have motorcycles that it's in the studio, but then most of the times it'll be out of the studio because it's dark and you just got to find a natural, nice place to work. These are my photography groups. My still life fine art is growing every day. My others are growing too. My meetup clubs, my Facebook, my Instagram, my Google, and my Twitter, and my fine art, our fine art photographs of still life, light paintings, and other types of still life. Our portfolio, and they got a YouTube channel. I'll bring that up. So this is still life and landscape of Michael Pucciarelli, and to have playlist, which I organize it. We have landscape photography information. We have still life. We have light painting webinars. We have black clicks table webinars. Gotta use Adobe software. And the white plexiglass tables playlist. Let's see. If there are any questions, you can always email me at mpucciarelliart2016@gmail.com, or you can connect with me through Instagram, Google, or LinkedIn. LinkedIn's pretty cool connecting. They need, they help people with business. Maybe connect with Twitter or my website. You can just contact me there, or the Facebook groups. But thank you for letting me listen to give this webinar and different, small LED flashlights. So maybe if you're interested in still life in any way, maybe consider joining and subscribing to the YouTube channel, Still Life and Landscape by Michael Pucciarelli. Thank you for watching.